Legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson celebrating 25 years of commitment to Guam, Micronesia, and the CNMI. Cars Plus, home of Guam's first and only lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit carsplusguam.com for details. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Coming up on KUAM News Primetime, an economic forum was held today with the agenda focused on the reopening and rebuilding of our island's tourism industry. Plus, a lengthy informational hearing was held on a bill revamping the island's medical malpractice policy, and the latest on the extradition of accused murderer Nicholas Moore.
Hafa and good evening, everyone. Representatives from just about every major business organization got together today for an economic forum on the reopening of the local economy. The focus was mostly on reviving the dormant tourism industry. Here's more. On the agenda was reopening tourism, vaccine tourism, and the essential tools needed by businesses to operate in a new safety-first tourism environment. But in response to a question from forum moderators, United Airlines executive and GVB board member Sam Shinohara said the real key to tourist travel here was clarity.
What needs to be clear to the traveling public into Guam is what are the requirements with respect to quarantine and the protocols. Those need to be clear before anybody can consider putting a package together.
He says until those are sufficiently eased, Guam will lose out to rivals like Hawaii, where all it takes is a negative PCR test to enter. Governor Leon Guerrero opened the forum. She says Guam is on track to a 100% reopening in July, but she stopped short of making any announcement. What she did announce is a plan to spend some of her American Rescue Plan money to further assist small businesses with more grants and a new employee subsidy.
We are working to incentivize the return to work so that you can be more aggressive in your hiring. The concept is this. It is designed to subsidize your new hires for 3 months so that you can get back on your feet. This way, we help businesses and get people working.
Labor Director Dave Della Sola later provided the specifics.
Those businesses will submit to us their vacancies, and we will fund 3 months, 480 hours at $9.25 an hour.
Della Sola says they expect it will result in about 5,000 to 6,000 workers hired. But to achieve that, the governor says she needs the business community to hire.
In the words of Bruno Mars, I'm gonna leave the door open. Tell me that you're coming through. Tell me that you're coming through. The governor, obviously a Bruno fan. The Guam Recovery Task Force is hard at work to rebuild tourism with hopes of reaching herd immunity by Liberation Day on July 21st. However, there are some issues the task force needs to work around. One in particular is the 2-hour-long COVID-19 screening process for arrivals at the airport. At the latest meeting, task force chairman Sam Shinohara called attention to the general process and the lengthy wait.
You know, when I think about our activity coming back, and I'm not just talking about United, but just in general, that peak afternoon bank when everybody wants to arrive, that arrivals process, if it's not streamlined, is going to create havoc for us.
Also discussed by task force members was a digital processing system to include individual QR codes to shorten the time frame for visitors. During the meeting, Dr. Michael Cruz informed that roughly 72% of the adult population is now fully vaccinated. In order to reach herd immunity, the island must reach an 80% vaccination rate. GVB President Carl Gutierrez and other members believe the rate could be reached by June 30th. Subsequently, a final decision on the proposed $1.6 million tourism incentive program could be announced. Just minutes prior to Wednesday night's informational hearing on a controversial bill to revamp the medical malpractice law, Co-sponsor, Vice Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes, withdrew her support of the measure. Barnes says she's heard from the island's medical community and is standing with their opposition to the legislation. KUAM's Adriana Cotero reports.
Senator Tina Muñoz Barnes.
The intent of Bill 112 is to make arbitration on Guam more accessible and replace the medical malpractice mandatory arbitration law, also known as MMMA. The prime sponsor of the bill, Speaker Therese Terlahi, who introduced the legislation with the assistance of various senators as co-sponsors. However, one senator is backing out.
I'd like to note for the record that Senator Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes has sent me a letter prior to this hearing, just minutes prior, asking to be removed as a sponsor.
Vice Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes sent a letter to Terlahi right before the first of a series of hearings on the bill. Barnes stating, quote, based on previous conversations, I supported Bill 112-36 because I was informed by you that you spoke to our island's medical community. However, I have received multiple calls from members of the medical community to the contrary, unquote. Due to these disagreements between doctors, Barnes is disagreeing with lawmakers on the matter. Barnes adds that she has also heard from patients who express concerns with the bill. She says, quote, throughout the pandemic, we have emphasized that doctors should not choose who lives and who dies. However, with Bill 112-36, this is a choice they will have to make. For these reasons, I cannot, in good conscience, jeopardize the health and well-being of the people of Guam, unquote. Speaker Terlahi opened Wednesday evening's hearing, stating that the bill is a product of numerous informational hearings on the current MMMA law that took place last term.
After oversights of the medical licensing boards and other health boards, and careful review of NCSL's analysis of malpractice laws in other jurisdictions. In drafting the bill, we looked at a way to mitigate the cost of arbitration in order to remove a huge barrier for working class and indigent patients who currently can't afford the estimated $50,000 needed for arbitration fees, filing fees, and arbitrators' fees and other costs, and the other $50,000 if they proceed to trial beyond arbitration.
Terlahi says Bill 112 does not make patients win these cases. It gives no preference and simply allows them to seek justice through the legal system. She adds that the measure continues the current policy in Guam law to provide a screening process to protect doctors from frivolous lawsuits.
The screening process can be arbitration as agreed by the parties, mediation, or if no agreement otherwise, then the case will be screened by a magistrate judge before it is allowed to go to a trial with a jury.
In her withdrawal statement, Barnes attached letters of opposition from medical professionals urging lawmakers to not repeal the current arbitration law. Further public hearings on the bill are slated for Wednesday, July 7th and Monday, July 12th from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
$3.3 million in federal funding from the Interior Department was awarded to GovGuam to fund 17 different projects for government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and educational institutions. Governor Lulian Guerrero says the money will help meet a variety of goals. The recipients include GPA for a comprehensive security plan for Guam's critical energy infrastructure, the Public Library for a software upgrades assistance program, Revenue Tax for revenue officers training in the collections branch, and the Airport Authority for the financial management system assessment, to name a few. For a complete list of projects funded, head over to KUAM.com. And he's supposed to be extradited back to Guam, but it's been 2 weeks since accused murderer Nicholas Wayne Moore was arrested by the U.S. Marshal Service in Florida. GPD Chief Stephen Ignacio.
He's still in their custody, so I don't know what the movements are. And I'm sure we're not going to know for purposes of security until he gets here.
Ignacio on the link this morning did provide more details as the investigation progressed.
We sent two of our agents from criminal investigation out to Florida to work with the U.S. Marshals so that once they picked up Nicholas Moore, we could step in and attempt to conduct an interrogation or interview regarding the case. And of course, I'm not sure what the outcome was of whether or not he provided any statements, but we were there when he was picked up. And then we went around and did investigative work. We talked to whoever he may have been living with, whether it's just a family, a friend, a relative, and see if they had any information as to that they could provide that may be helpful in the investigation that we're conducting.
The 23-year-old Moore is a suspect in the murder of Michael Castro, who was reported missing last October. Moore is charged with murder, attempted murder, and unlawful flight to avoid prosecution from 2 separate cases. Attorney Jay Arreola has been designated as defense counsel for accused murderer Matthew Matabusin. This after at least 3 other attorneys withdrew from the case. Matabusin is charged with the April fatal shooting of Joshua Meno, whose body was found along Swamp Road in Dededo. He faces 2 counts of murder as a first-degree felony, 1 count of aggravated assault as a second-degree felony, and various weapons charges. Under Guam law, if a defendant is charged with a first-degree felony, they're entitled to more than 1 legal representation. A hearing is set for Monday to confirm whether Attorney Arreola and another lawyer will be able to represent the defendant. Jury selection is slated for July 20th. And defense counsel for accused murderer Joyner Skeed today sought her release from holding in a separate misdemeanor case. However, the government chose to continue to hold Skeed so she will receive credit for time served in her ongoing felony proceeding. Depending on the outcome of the felony case, the court may grant the motion to release. Skeed and co-defendant Rudy Kinata are accused of the brutal beating death of former Umatic Mayor Daniel Sanchez. Her trial is slated for September 13th. And in regional news, former Philippine President Benigno Aquino III died today after being rushed to a Manila hospital. The cause of death was not immediately announced. The 61-year-old son of former President Corazon Aquino and democracy icon and namesake former Senator Benigno Aquino Jr. served from 2010 to 2016. The Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs released a statement saying the nation is mourning the passing. It said, quote, President Aquino elevated the country's conduct of foreign relations and steered foreign policy towards a principled direction that earned international respect and esteem. He left a remarkable legacy in our country's foreign policy and national history, the statement said. On Guam, Vice Speaker Tina Barnes issued a news release stating, quote, Guam joins the Philippine people in honoring his life and memory. And we'll be back with more news right after this.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
And instant prizes from Foot Locker and Burger King. Win the best-selling 2021 Toyota Corolla LE, the crossover SUV 2021 Toyota RAV4 LE, and the dynamic luxury SUV 2021 BMW X1. The more you shop, the more chance to win. In the Micronesia Malls, shop and win.
Triple bacon cheese.
How's that song coming along?
That's for me?
Oh, no. You're making music. I don't want to get in your way.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh. Hang on a second. My triple bacon cheesy jack combo. Only at Jack in the Box.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Welcome back. It appears that attendance isn't an issue for the Guam Department of Education's summer school program. When summer school registrations first opened, it was quite slow. That's according to Guam Education Department Interim Public Information Officer Michelle Franquez. But some 6,503 participants are currently attending the program. Of that, and 159 of them are no-shows. Summer school began 3 weeks ago, and Franquez said it has been flowing very smoothly.
The summer school program is typically for just addressing the learning loss, but then also incorporating activities that do learning acceleration. You know, we do want students to enjoy going to school, and our teachers have been doing a phenomenal job.
3,376 are elementary school students, 959 attend middle school, and 2,168 are high school students. Elementary and middle school summer programs are scheduled to end July 16th, with high school expected to wrap up on July 22nd. This is the first time GDOE is offering high school students 4 sessions, which allows them to earn up to 2 full credits. Another break-in occurred Tuesday evening at the home of the Wildcats in Barrigada. KUAM's Isaiah Uggan has this report.
Thieves strike again for the 5th time this year at LP Ontalon Middle School. Principal Agnes Guerrero pleads with the community to report any suspicious activity to the Guam Police Department to ensure the school facilities are protected.
I do request, for all other residents on the island passing through Ontalon, if you see anything suspicious, please be vigilant and report that to proper authorities. And I just want to leave with the community that it's not just the school itself that's going to be responsible. It's a community effort, not just Barrigada, but the island itself.
Guerrero said that as staff was surveilling the campus Wednesday morning, they discovered that one of the classrooms was broken into through a window.
Actually, prying open a secured reinforced shutter that was intended to be that way. And so they managed to break through the shutter and break the window and enter the classroom.
Right now, school personnel are still searching for items stolen, but so far had discovered snacks, equipment valued at $300, and some personal items of the teacher were taken. It seems to be a never-ending issue as Guerrero shares how these break-ins impact her, her staff, and most importantly, the students.
You know, we feel very, saddened that this had occurred. It's still occurring, and our children having this school as a safe place to come to, our facility, and experiencing something like that, just brings a lot of, unfortunate emotions and sadness to our day. I mean, it's not going to bring us down, but it's definitely has impacted us.
Guerrero added that she doesn't know anyone who would do such a thing and what their motive was. As previously reported, GDOE Superintendent John Fernandez says they have a couple of initiatives underway internally to address the situation. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Isaiah Uggan.
We did reach out to police for a response, but as of news time, did not get any details. In other news, a motion to sever was filed in a 3-defendant federal bid rigging case. Retired University of Guam professor Thomas Marler, former USDA employee John Hobart Lawrence, and his daughter Janika Lawrence were indicted on wire fraud and money laundering charges for scheming to rig bids for UOG federally funded projects from 2012 to 2015. Hobart is seeking a separate trial, arguing that he only faces conspiracy-related charges for his role in the crime, and it would ultimately speed up the process. The court discussed possible trial dates if the case is severed. As of now, trial remains scheduled for August the 17th. And Damian Kaleo Greer and Jesse Poo Villagomez Jr. have been charged with animal abuse. The AG's office has accused the pair of shooting a dog with a pellet rifle last November in the Harmon Industrial Road area. Although the dog did not receive life-threatening injuries, the incident did leave it limping, swollen, and with a wound. A court hearing has not yet been scheduled. And what's in a name? A lot, especially if you ask any of the village leaders who's testified during a public hearing today on a series of bills by Senator Tello Taitagui to rename them. Actually, Taitagui says her intent is not to change the village names, but to restore them.
I thank you, Mr. Chair, and other co-sponsors of these measures for joining me in recognizing the importance of restoring Chamorro names of our village in a broader effort to preserve, to perpetuate, and to celebrate our indigenous language, culture, tradition in every way possible.
Renaming our village of Agate to Hagat may not be a huge significance to many, but it is of significance to those who have laid the foundation of our history for our people. It is significant for those who are fighting to keep the spirit and the teachings of our ancestors of the Chamorro people alive.
Agate Mayor Kevin Siswico was joined by the village leaders of 4 other southern villages who support the name restorations of Santa Rita, Talofofo, Maleso, and Humatak. And now with regional headlines, here's KSPN2 News.
Hofade Zantiro, Guam. Here's what's making headlines in the CNMI.
They're giving a lot of numbers to call the labor and the PUA, but none of them answering. Even Kilili himself, Tina Sablan herself, Ed Cross herself, said they've been calling that number, but no avail.
We don't want to hinder their work at all, but we do want to be heard. We're here, we're supportive, we're peaceful, but at some point, where are we at? And that's what we need to know.
A number of PUA applicants staged a rally on Thursday with signs saying, "Release our PUA." Representative Ed Probst made an appearance before the protesters, listening to their concerns and sharing his sentiments.
Talk to so many of you about your challenges right now, and there's so many of you that are going through the same exact thing, from losing your apartment, not paying your mortgage, losing your cars, losing your power and water. There's so many heartbreaking stories. All the more reason why this should be one of the top priorities for everyone.
This morning, Labor Secretary Vicky Benaventi provided a comment on the demonstration.
Unfortunately, in reviewing some of the participants in yesterday's protest, we noticed that for the majority of them were PUA applicants that were probably disqualified and deemed non-eligible because of their employment status in the CNMI.
Under the Continued Assistance Act, the Department of Labor had to disqualify a number of uneligible applicants. Benaventi states she understands their frustrations, but the guidelines are clear.
We've attempted to change laws with regards to who is qualified or eligible. We tried to expand the qualified alien definition and policy interpretations. We're working with U.S. DOE to help our people as much as possible. We understand the frustration with some of the delays. We understand the frustration with the fact that these laws require documents that may have not been required last year in June 2020. So with that said, I understand the frustration. They're free to protest, they're free to speak as they wish, but I am mandated by federal law to keep this information confidential as far as each of those applicants who are in that protest line or who are calling in as well.
Benaventi states the DOL is trying to resolve every issue with every applicant. With 60% of the CNMI population fully vaccinated, Governor Torres, along with Hospital Chief Esther Muña, declares community vulnerability level green for the Marianas.
We're looking at our numbers at 60%. We reached that goal yesterday. So 60% of eligible adolescents and adults to be fully vaccinated. And, although this is not herd immunity, we feel this is very significant.
Some of what level green means is that indoor spaces are back to 100% occupancy, and indoor gatherings of 150 people are now permitted. But because the CNMI isn't at an 80% vaccination rate, entities should continue to enforce social distancing and the wearing of face masks. For more news, please visit saipantv.com. For KSPN2, I'm Sally Limas.
Up next, David Delgado with sports. Don't go away.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Half a day. As we look ahead to a brighter tomorrow, Matson's commitment to Guam and Micronesia remains stronger than ever. While the world around us is ever changing, what remains unchanged is our commitment to you, our customers, and the island communities we serve. Shipping is what we do best, and serving our community is at the heart of everything we do. But we don't do it alone. This is why we support organizations that make caring for the people and the environment a top priority. We know that many count on Matson's lifeline services in the Pacific, and that's why we continue to work hard to ensure that our shipments remain on time all the time. Matson recently added another Aloha-class vessel to our schedule. We now have 2 of Matson's largest and fastest ships serving Guam from the U.S. West Coast and Hawaii. With our new state-of-the-art vessels, we stand ready to support the region's economic recovery. Thank you for the privilege of serving you for the last 25 years, and you can count on Matson to be here for the next 25 years and beyond.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
We won't.
We will wait. We will wait
For someone to come
save us. We won't wait for the waters to be cleared. We won't just wait to breathe clean air. We won't wait to uplift our lives today and to embrace our now for better.
We dream. We dare. No holding back.
We go for it.
Because tomorrow,
For us to create. For tomorrow, we won't wait.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. Tonight on the show, we're going to hear from Still Athletics owner J.J. Ambrose on tomorrow night's Glorified Sparring 7 event. Check it out. Glorified Sparring 7 goes down tomorrow night at Still Athletics in Samuning. There will be boxing, kickboxing, MMA, and a jiu-jitsu match for fans to enjoy.
Yeah, so we're really excited to get started again. That whole year and a half with COVID, being able to throw another Glorified Sparring, see all the MMA fighters showing their interest throughout the year. It's just great to get back to doing what we are meant to be doing.
Doors for the event open at 6 p.m. with fights scheduled to start at 7.
It was crazy because we told everybody to hold off on buying tickets. We're going to put tickets on sale on Monday, and 3 hours later, after announcing that, we sold out. So it was really awesome to see the community come together to watch their fighters, to support. It's just really awesome to be able to have a live event with fighters, with fans, so we can give back to the community.
Funds raised will go towards another great cause. JJ and the staff at Still Athletics continue to give back to the community in many ways. This time around, the monies will go to a family coping with the tragedy.
Every time we have a Glorified Sparring, we try to donate to a worthy cause in the community to help Guam. 4 weeks ago, we had no idea who we were going to give the money to. And then a few weeks ago, some unfortunate news came our way. All proceeds from Glorified Sparring are going to the Pareto family. They had an unfortunate death a few weeks ago. I think domestic violence is one of those things that you hear a lot about in the news, and we just want to help the family any way we can. I know that funeral expenses are expensive, so we just want to help them out in any way we can.
If you aren't able to watch the event in person, don't worry. The stations of KUAM got you covered. Glorified Sparring 7 will be streamed live at 7 p.m. on Friday on the KUAM News Facebook page.
Being able to team up with KUAM is so awesome. Unfortunately, we weren't able to sell as many tickets as we would like to. With DPHSS ruling, we could only have 100 spectators in the gym at one time. So with KUAM, we're going to be able to stream it on a professional level. So not only will our fight fans be able to see the event live, we'll also be able to reach more people so that the fighters get more exposure and possibly get fights off island.
Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
We've made a lot of breakfasts, and along the way, we noticed something was missing. A warm cinnamon roll for breakfast, or with breakfast. A fluffy blueberry muffin from the drive-thru you're already driving through. A glazed apple fritter, which might find its way into your coffee. These are options every breakfast haver should have, and now they do. Meet the new bakery sweets at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
KUAM News, in partnership with the Guam Visitors Bureau, brings you the Guam Safe and WTTC Safe Travel Certified Program Showcase. Look out for this powerful symbol for visitors, island residents, and industry workers alike, as it represents establishments with a consistent global commitment to safety practices. Stamped with approval by the Guam Visitors Bureau and the World Travel Tourism Council. Every Monday on KUAM News will feature a different local business who's taken the Safe Guam and Safe Travels pledge to maintain health and safety standards to get Guam back on track. Log on to visitguam.com to see how your business can receive the designation, what businesses in our community are Guam Safe certified, and have the WTTC Safe Travel certified.
And before we go, here's our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
It is most definitely a happy birthday on this Thursday, June the 24th, to John